Hello and welcome to the second video. I'm saying this the second video because there is a video connected to it. It's called Arrays of Objects Video 1. This is the second video within the topic of arrays of objects. Um, we didn't see actually arrays of objects in the previous one, but we got ready to talk about it. So I'm going to be finishing this videos by the discussion of array of objects. Just a little fresher memory, if you really had a big time gap between the two, we ended up doing a constructor by the name book. Has three pieces of data, the title, the price, and the page. It has a method that will print the whole data, so I don't need even to, I just need to call the print data in association with any object. It will do the printing because the document does run directly built in it. Of course, another method is called tax. It doesn't print anything, however, it does return a value. And the same thing with the full price, which is a quick way of doing it because it takes the price that belongs to the constructor, but along with this, it's going to add the method tax. And the method tax, since it's return a value, whatever value is returned is going to be added to the price. And of course, that's going to be stored the full, and the full is going to be returned by the methods. It's almost 2:15 in the morning, so I'm getting sleepy, but I will have to finish this. Again, in the previous videos, I did declare an object by the name my book of the type of the constructor book. I send these data directly as a constants or literal literal strings for the titles. I send $100 for the price, and I send 356 as well for the number of pages. And also I use the method to print the pages, and then I call the text as I did, and of course I send it to fixed method, which is also going to return only 2 digits to the right of this point. The same thing for the full price. Now we're going to go ahead and declare an array. An array, we didn't really specify it's an array of what, but I'm naming it array of objects, and I'm just declaring it as a new array. Either one, you could do it this way, or you could do it this way, this is the way that we prefer it by putting only the double brackets that will indicate that array of object is going to be declared as an array. So because I have three books and I'm trying to read the data into them and not to lose the data, I need to send it directly to the array of object. I'm going to do the reading directly by prompting the user. So as you notice here, I'm prompting the user. Prompt method is going to always return a string. So title is a strings or a text. It's going to be okay. However, when I'm reading the number of the pages, prompt is going to return a text. I need to parse that value as a parse integer through the number class, which is going to take that value and parse it in integer. Then it's going to store it into a local variable num. The same exact things for the price, but instead of integer, I'm parsing it as a float. And there is a local variable, or a variable is called price. It's going to be actually holding that value. Upon completing the reading from the user, I will be able to create a temporary, by the name, a temporary object of that book and sending those values, title, whatever title, let's say C programming, say number of pages is, I'm assuming this is, okay, this is supposed to be the price first. This is how we order things. So we're going to be the price here, and the number of the pages was the last one. It doesn't matter how I read them, as long as I'm actually sending them in the right order. I could do that, cut it and put it, if I want to keep the same logic of the order and with the logic of the reading. It doesn't matter, either one will do, as long as you're sending the parameters in the alignment of what you're sending versus what eventually the object that is going to be declared of the constructor book. going to be the same. You don't want to mix the order of the variables. Anyway, we got the book here as a constructor to give me all its design and to be giving to a temporary object. It's going to immediately have whatever title I send it, whatever price, whatever numbers. But before I lose it, the next time the loop goes around, because I'm constantly using temp to create a new object, I'm pushing it. I'm taking the temp and I'm using the method push, because all arrays in JavaScript have those methods like push, pop, sort, reverse. You should check all of them again if you forgot. One of the most powerful is sort, and all these actually going to be part of how we utilize arrays. So I'll take the temp and push it, and we push actually one object in the array of object, as we actually heard me for the first time, saying has become an array of object because its element are objects to start with. So temp is an object because of it. It is a tab book, an array of object, and keep pushing it in a multiple object. In this case, I'm going to do 3 just to make it easier for us. So this is going to actually do the reading. We don't have any syntactical error or logical error. That reading will be done. How do I prove everything is really done correctly? I need to call those methods. That is going to show me the data. For example, I could go ahead and say, for I start with 0, I'm going to go ahead and just to prove to you that everything that we have read into the array of objects should be having 3 of those objects. All right, I'm going to say here, I list in. Now I could use the array of object dot length, because I know how many, or the program knows how many elements were read into the array, even though each element is, again, one more time, an object by itself. So we're going to go ahead and say I++, and we do recall from a previous run that each of these objects has a method. It's called print data. It has the document.write, so it has the functionality to print my result. And this print data, it's just going to print whatever I send to the array of object through multiple objects. So I'm going to go ahead and say arrays of object because it's an array. It will have multiple elements. Each element is uniquely identified by its own index. The first time I is going to be 0. Now we're going to say here print data, that all of these objects have this method. It's built in it. And I'm going to go ahead and take this out, or at least for now, go ahead and comment it. So it does ignore that. Make sure that you actually close the comments in the right place. So I don't want to be distorted by the previous result with the new result, where it's going to be 3 books that I'm going to enter through this. So let's go ahead and run it. First of all, we need to save it. I'm using Notepad++. It's a fantastic editor where it allows me to run an HTML document directly within its own environments. So I'm going to launch this in Chrome. That's what I'm using. And now I got the pop-up window, which is really caused by the prompt. So I'm going to go ahead and say C programming. And it may be the price is $100. And the number of the pages, let's say 200. And another title, it says ask me another title. Actually, I could organize this to be much better by saying enter title for book 2 or book 3. So enter title, I'm going to say JavaScript. This is my, and it's going to be, the price is 150 and 300 pages. Then we're going to say here, let's say history of the USA. Okay, and that's going to be a price of, let's say 30, and the number of the pages is 190 page. And hopefully this is going to be the last prompt, because that's what we exactly had at 3 attempts. And here we go. Look, we have the C programming, the price, the number of pages, and it really looks beautiful. So what we're going to go ahead and also make sure that we are able to utilize the other methods. If you recall that we have the tax and we have the full price. Of course, these methods are different from this method. This method does all the printing inside. The tax method does return a value, and the full price return the value. So I need to really include those inside a documents or directly write them to a table if that what is required from me. But I'm going to go ahead and save a couple minutes. You know, long videos are going to be extremely boring. So I'm going to go ahead and do this directly here in order to avoid retyping everything. But now, instead of my book, which I did it for a previous one object, I'm going to do it for an array of objects. I'm going to say array of object. And in this case, I'm printing one specific one, which is going to be that one. And with all the fixation, I mean, all the digit 2, of course, here, going to be very similar. I'm sorry, I'm rushing through this because I could see the 10 minutes already exceeded the 10 minutes length. All right, so we're going to go ahead and see that each time we're going to print, it's going to give me a line inside this one here. So what I'm going to do, instead of build that inside the, oh, let me cut it. So I don't want it to really, well, I could leave this undo, basically, undo, and maybe I could take that also, since I copied it, and put it right here to separate that from every time actually I see a book. So just for the sake of separating actually the books from each other. And I'll put another one here, you know. So sometimes I put that closing because BR is a new line for an empty tag, so it always goes. You could put it BR, then you close it. I'm not confusing you because I'm using here different than here, so it will work both ways. So I'm going to go ahead and run this. Even go ahead. Obviously, there is a mistake, so let's go ahead and see where is the mistake. Because obviously, I forgot this one here. It's more likely this is the mistake that's causing the problem. And let's go ahead and yeah, this is a comment, so I'm going to go ahead and run it. At this time, I'm going to rush through the reading very quickly. See, and I'm going to go ahead and put the price is 10, page is 30. I'm going to say here JavaScript. And we're going to go ahead and do it doesn't matter. And then we're going to here saying systems. And we're going to go ahead and do 34, 500. And here we go. The only thing probably is really when we had the new line, we left it in the print data. Stick with us. But this is the tax due for the first book. This is the full price. And the same thing, this is the tax and this is the full price. And everything's aligned. Of course, it will be much better output if we do use table. So we'll align every book, the title of the book, the price of the book, and the number of the pages and the taxes, and it will be much better. That's very easily done after you know, we probably have done too many of those tables before we should even attempt to do anything with JavaScript. Let me go back to this one here and make sure that you run this program if you want to learn it. This is the code. If you want to really take a good screenshot, this is half of the program. And I'm going to go ahead and give you another chance to do a screenshot, which you have also many software that allows you to really snip part of the screen in order to divide this into just one screen and do the typing and the examination of this code. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. More importantly, I hope you learned something. Take care. Bye-bye.